Welcome to the Fortress Fitness Lifestyle podcast series, where we cater to you mind, body, and soul, with host Victor Francis and his special guests tackling diet, exercise, diabetes, and much more. Tune in every Saturday at 7 p.m. This podcast is brought to you in part by Virtuscope VA Services and Abini Pro Fitness.
Good night.
Good
Once
night.
again,
Good night.
all right, another episode of welcome everybody to another episode of Fortress Fitness Lifestyle Magazine podcast. And tonight we have a special guest tonight on Fortress. Someone I met, I think earlier on this year via social media because the work that she done, piqued my interest and I reached out to her. Right? That is Corinne Farmer.
Yes.
She's the owner and founder of Suspension Bell Fitness. So good night, Corinne.
Good night, Victor.
All right,
And
it's good
everybody.
to have you. Welcome.
Same here. Thanks for having me. This was a nice
All
opportunity. I appreciate you having me here.
Yes. So for the viewers, Corinne will be in our third issue of Fortress Fitness magazine, which comes out in July, and you will see her bio and all that she does and continue to do in the fitness niche and which is around the health and wellness niche. That's why she's here on Fortress Fitness podcast. So Corinne, can you just tell us a little more about yourself, please?
Okay, so I entered this industry pretty late in my career. I used to be a SAP business analyst. I used to work in IT up until 2018. And I was kind of always, involved in fitness since I was 19 years old. I was involved in fitness. I started lifting when I was 19 and I just got really in love with it. I don't know. I just got hooked on training and especially weight training in particular. And then, as like everybody else's fitness journey tends to begin is usually because you're trying to control some aspect of your health. And in my case, it was my weight. So I basically, joined a gym when I was 19 and I became fast friends with one of the personal trainers that was there. And it's really through her that my love for fitness started to grow over time. So I trained with her consistently for like about I would say about 3 or 4 years. And then I was like, I think I'm going to do a certification. So I went and I did ISSA's flagship personal trainer course. And I had no intention of joining the industry whatsoever. And so I did that for my personal, edification. And then, I just continued to train and grow in my own personal journey. And then I was retrenched from my job in 2018 and then I just switched careers. I just saw it as an opportunity to just pivot because really and truly, IT really wasn't for me. If I were to be completely truthful, and I didn't really like the corporate environment either. So it was a good chance for me to pivot into something that I truly loved, and that's how I got into it. And I kind of removed myself from the gym environment too because I had to start learning how to train myself at home because of circumstances that changed in my personal life, and I got really good at it. So yeah, and then when I entered the industry, it was a case of me helping other people train effectively at home as well. That became my niche.
Okay, I understand. And so basically, you have a why. Everybody that comes on this podcast, Corinne, have a why.
Mhm.
Every single person who come on this podcast have a why they do what they do, and it always start with themselves. Either to get fit or healthy at that point in time, or
Right.
for those people who sell health products or whatever it is they start with themselves, and that by itself is fabulous because I always tell people you must have a why you start to train or you decide to improve on your health and wellness, because if you don't have a why that is big enough, the reasons for changing your life will drown you. You must have a reason that is bigger than your excuse that we put in front of us,
Yeah.
right? So
For sure.
so right. So and then what make you now want to do what you do outside of most personal trainers, which is go in the gym and do their thing and all that kind of thing. What make you stray from that and doing it the way that you actually doing it?
All right. So when I found myself having to take care of my daughter by myself, there was no time for gym, right? And so that's why, like, I was like, how am I going to continue staying fit at home? Because I was committed. I was already committed to the fitness lifestyle by that time, right? So I just decided to start training at home, and then people used to ask me, well, how are you maintaining your fitness lifestyle at home? Like, how are you? Because I mean, you got the results in the gym. I mean, I had transformed myself in front of others in the gym to the point where people were asking me what I was doing. And then they never used to see me in the gym anymore. But then I was still like looking the same way, acting the same way, or whatever. So they were like, how are you doing this? And so it became a situation where when I actually transitioned into the industry full time, I had gotten so good at training at home. It just, I don't know, it just became a natural thing for me to attract people who wanted to do the same thing at home. So my why, I would say, is just helping busy people who have a really high commitment level outside of their personal life and even within their personal life to find a way to stay fit, even though they have all these other things going on and they just have no time to be in a gym environment. So my why was to support those kinds of people because I had to find a way to support my own fitness under those similar conditions. And
Yes,
that's
and I yes, and I perfectly understand that, Karine, because I who train people for a long time, I don't train much people again based on what I'm doing now, but I know for a fact that there's a lot of people that really don't like the gym environment because I've been doing this for years, and there's a lot of
yeah,
people don't like even the Savannah um, thing because, and even though it's not too safe based on what's happening. So what I can say is that as you rightfully said, you cater for the people who lifestyle are very busy based on work and based on kids and family and don't have the time based when they come home in the evening or whatever to go back out to the gym to do what I think they need to do. At least someone like you, because at the end of the day, most people doing it the traditional way, based
yeah,
on what I know, and you happen to find a gap into that field whereby you manage to find a group of people or clients that likes what you do, whereby they feel safe, one, for you to come home by them, and the
hmm,
service that you provide for the length of time you're doing it, which means you're getting results, they're getting results, they feel safe, and your personality, that will help obviously people to feel safe
right.
in the comfort of the home, right? Based on what I saw, some of the videos that you will have on Instagram, I see you doing your thing and all that, and it is really inspiring for those people outside of the gym, for the business people who don't want to go to the gym, for the people who say, you know what, they just don't like gym, and I know that,
Yeah.
so
Like
that
their
by itself,
privacy, there's a
yes,
lot of things.
yes, yes, they like the privacy and things like that, and also you did it for yourself and you know the restriction based on what you say, having a child or a daughter, and you want to get healthy and fit because children, as much as we love them, it doesn't change the fact that we want to keep ourselves healthy and fit in order to take proper care of them.
Yeah.
Yes, right. So the clients that you will have, is a busy life now, and we have to fit in exercise, health, fitness, wellness into that. You cannot stop doing one out of the other in order to achieve your level of fitness. You can't stop work. You can't not take care of your children. You can't
Correct.
not pay your bills. You must, everything had to fit in that one sucks in order to
Yep.
enjoy the benefit and the fruits of your labor as time go by. So how has it been, or the response been in doing what you're doing, like the home calls and going to train these clients from home? What has been the success rate based on customer feedback, client feedback, based on for the time you started? What has been the feedback thus far?
Um, I think when I say, I mean, feedback for me, everybody, most of my clients are either like just wellness clients or like weight loss clients, right? I hardly have people who want to like grow big muscles and stuff like that, who want to
Mhm.
gain weight and stuff. And obviously, a lot of the times, in order to accomplish those kinds of goals, you definitely need to end up in a gym, right? But like just for wellness and general health, I would say the feedback has been great because I mean, I have been able to get clients to stick to their fitness for years when they were completely sedentary before, right? I've been able to get weight loss results for clients. I mean, well, I mean, you and I both know that weight loss is more about your diet than your exercise. But everybody who came to me with the intention of, most of my clients came to me without any exercise experience whatsoever. I always end up with beginners, and a lot of the time it's beginners who's starting very late in life as well. So I would say I love the fact that I have been able to accomplish getting people completely out of a sedentary lifestyle and for them to stick to it for the long haul, right? Their health markers have increased. I mean, I have clients who show me their doctors' reports all the time to show me how things are going. Because I have hypertensive clients, I have diabetic clients, and all of them would attribute their continued well-being and their doctor's numbers looking good because of what I do for them. So,
Yes.
and these people would not be doing this unless I was there with them every step of the way, continuing to help them move forward with their fitness. They just wouldn't do it.
And I agree, Karine, because based on what I know is that like hypertension and those kind of things, is a lifestyle together with moderate exercise. You don't have to be
Yep.
robust, you know.
Yep.
And I keep telling people that gym will get you a little, strength training is okay, it's good, it's a step towards wellness, but it's not to say it's a guarantee will get you healthy, but it's a good
Right.
step, right? Because you and I know is nutrition is how you eat together
Correct.
with I mean, you could be healthy and fit without even going to the gym. That's a fact. Yeah.
Correct.
and
Definitely.
and
Definitely.
yes. When I started the Fortress Fitness movement and the magazine, that's why it's a Fortress Fitness lifestyle magazine. It's not a fitness magazine. It's not a
Right.
sport magazine. It's about wellness, a holistic approach to wellness, whereby exactly what you're doing is what this movement is about. Because even though I am a gymmer by choice, right, and I
Hmm.
also do the necessaries, which is where that is concerned and other stuff, in order to be healthier whilst I do what I do, right? But for the average person, if they meet me today, which is meet a lot of people, how do I get from point A to point B? Meaning that how do I raise the level of my fitness? How do I get healthier? It don't start in the gym, right? It start with a conversation. It start with, all right, what is your meals like? Yes.
Hmm.
And you have any restriction, just what you talk about it, whether it's hypertension or diabetes or whatever. It starts in the kitchen after we had a conversation, and exactly what you do, someone could raise the standard of fitness and wellness without seeing the door of a gym. I'm saying it because I know it's true,
Yep.
right? If you want to go
Yep.
to the gym, it's fine. If you want to go on strength training as they get older, that's great. Actually, it's recommended. But you don't need to go to the gym to do strength training. You could have your resistance band. You could have
Facts.
little tampons or whatever the case may be. So I know for a fact, even, and I am a chronic gymmer. Yeah.
Yeah, I was
So
too.
so
I was too for a very long time. Yeah.
yeah. So I'm a chronic gymmer. It's good to hear, Karine, that clients could bring their doctor's result and the status from the time that you started with them, and show you whereby they're seeing a lot of results based on what you do. That by itself, to me, what should make you feel, motivated and inspired to continue doing what you're doing, because there's a lot of trainers that do the opposite training, whereby there's gym trainers, there might be Savannah trainers, and the clients not getting results like that because they're not intimate with the clients. And one of the things that I keep saying over and over is that you have to be intimate with the clients, whereby you can know what is the status. You just can't be just training people, not knowing the medical condition, what they want to achieve, and all they're doing is
Yeah.
paying you and you're turning your back and leave. Those are the kind of trainers that I wouldn't really want to associate with, and I wouldn't want on this movement, which I never and I don't have any that came on in this program. That's why I choose the trainers or the people who represent trainers in this country to come on this podcast, because I've trained a lot of people for a long period of time. And it's not about the money. You gotta love what you do, first of all,
Yes,
and
for
then
sure.
pass on that love to the people who want the help. Because really help they want, It's really help that they want, right? And
Yeah.
they trust their health into a professional like yourself. And once they get the results, they will continue to trust you and recommend you to other people. And you mentioned earlier on that a lot of your clients have, I don't want to say senior citizen, but at a certain age, the older set of
Yeah.
people, right?
I mean,
And those are
I have a client that is, I have clients that across the age spectrum, right? Like my youngest client is 15 years old, right? Um, and my oldest client is 86, right?
okay.
So
That's yeah. That
so it's like I have this broad, very broad spectrum of ages that I work with. So I mean, I'm pretty confident in training any age group, right? But I have a special place in my heart for people 40 years and over, simply because I belong to that age group. and I just feel like I think for me, like now it's so important for people to help people age well, because I want to age well. So I want to help other people age well as well. And I'm heavily invested in helping other people age well. Because the deficiencies in your life show up more in your old age, right?
yes.
I mean, you get away with so much when you're young, but there's so much you don't get away with when you turn 40 and over, right? So I am really passionate about helping people above, because you see people saying, like, for instance, I teach a class called Strong Nation, right? And that class, I'm not gonna lie, has been a hard sell from the beginning, because people look at it and they're like, oh my gosh, it's so hard, it's so hard. But like, you can make any workout your own, and there are some people who just have this thing about, they're just scared. They're scared to start. But you just start, you know what I mean? And you'd realize that if you keep showing up, it just gets easier,
Yes.
So
Yes.
I think my passion for helping like older people, it really comes from the fact that I really want to help people avoid the pitfalls of aging.
And that
You know?
and that by itself, you hearing me, Corinne?
I'm hearing you. Yes, I'm still hearing you. Yeah.
Right. And that by itself, as I was saying, is so it's so nice to hear you say that, a trainer say that, because one of the things I'm passionate about as well is people over 40 as well. Although I have trained people under that, but since I started this Fortress Fitness, I've realized that in this culture in Trinidad and Tobago, I can speak of outside there, I want to speak from where I'm from, and we have this false narrative as soon as we reach 40 is bring on the rocket chair, bring on the stick, and
Yep.
only in this in for me, there's a lot of people that I follow, not in Trinidad, the women in particular, 70, 69, I could call one or two names, Chef Bebet, Cheryl Grant. And those
Yep.
women, I follow them and they look awesome. And what they do, they just exercise, change their diet, what they eat, and they look awesome. And it's a cultural
There's a
thing
lot
in
of stuff
Trinidad. Yeah, it's a lot of thing in Trinidad. It's a lot of, there's a lot of, it's a culture. We know that. And I like when you say that you personally combating this age thing is good to hear because I tell people, and I also have on my social media, I put up certain reels whereby you cannot change, aging, but you can change the way you age based on your lifestyle that you choose
Yep.
to live,
Yep.
right? And I am going to, just as you, combat that aging process as long as I have breath in my mind
Yes.
and in my mouth, in my nostril. I don't play with that. I don't play Kareem.
I
I have
agree. I
myself.
agree 110% about
I,
that.
I am. I am. You're over 40 and I'm over 50. Yes.
I'm gonna be 47 next week, next 2 weeks. Yeah.
Well, if you are 40,
So
you're going to be you are 47 next 2 weeks, and
yeah.
you look the way that you do. I think you're doing a good job of combating that aging.
Yeah,
Yes.
I feel great at 47 years old. Like I don't really, you know what I mean? And I just want to help other people feel the same way.
And I could say that I wouldn't have guessed it's 47. And, based on what I'm seeing now and what I saw on your social media, on Instagram, I would have never guessed you're 47. Not that age mean anything. And so just keep doing what you're doing, but also a pure heart, a good heart helps, based on what I know,
Yes.
is a combination of a good heart. You watch what you eat, you exercise, and you live good. That
Keep the
that is
stress low.
that is your,
Keep the stress
keep the
low.
stress low. And
Yeah.
even though life could bring on unwanted situation that could bring on stress, I think that the way that we handle it will determine the kind of impact it will have on us.
Definitely.
And if you're someone who does exercise and do things to help people, I think no matter what the stress is that comes your way, you still feel good about yourself, helping other people relieve their stress. That by itself is a stress reliever for someone like you who love what they do and and feel good at helping people, you know, heal themselves by the choices that they make and the lifestyle that you show them they can live, and the exercise and the caring and love that you give them doing what you love so much.
Yes, I'm definitely very passionate about this work. This is my calling in life. I always tell people that because this doesn't feel like work to me. I have a good time. I have a good time. I have a good time doing this work. And I guess the nature of how I work as well, because I work in people's homes, there's a different level of intimacy that I have with my clients, right? Um, and even the ones like there's not everybody's home I go to. Like, I mean, there are some clients I work with camera to camera. So, but there's still, I mean, all of my clients end up being my friends, right? Because of the fact that it's always a one-on-one thing that's going on. So we end up having conversations, that span outside of just the training, right? So I really enjoy my work for that reason.
How does the online training works for you in Trinidad?
I have lots of ways that I do. I work so many different ways. It's not funny. Because like I do virtual training in 2 ways, right? I do live stream, like where it is we're working together on camera. So I'm I would actually just the same way I would train you in person is the same way I'd train you. It's just that we're just on camera, and that's the only difference, right? And then I have another type of virtual training where I deliver programs to people through an application. But you really have to know what kind of client you are, because working with a trainer through an application, it means that you're very self-motivated and you just want a client to you just want your trainer to be able to see that you've done the workouts, because like the app that I use, when clients do their workout, they check it off as completed and it shows up on my end. So at the end of every week, I get to see what they do, but they're not seeing me in person. Right. So there's a very minimal level of accountability with that. And then you have the live stream stuff. Now, in Trinidad, I would say, I mean, how many? I probably only have like I have probably about 6 clients that I train through the application. And I only have like about 4 clients that I train like live stream like that, like on camera. So, but I mean, that takes up a lot of my time anyway, you know? So I don't really, because I mean, having to build programs in an application is a lot of work, right?
Yes,
So,
yes, it is.
so, I mean, could I use more business like that? Sure, I could, right? I do prefer training in person because obviously there's a lot more I could do in terms of like correction, you know, because like I said, there's only certain types of clients that I would train virtually like that. And most of the time, it's people who are accustomed to, they have a certain level of experience. So they don't really need me to be like course correcting everything. But then there are some clients who, according to them, out of their own mouths, they like to be babysit, right? They like to be babysat. They want somebody sign up right. So,
Yeah,
so it's a very specific type of client that I would train virtually. Very, very specific.
okay. Yes, because you mentioned just now there with the app, someone had to be very motivated because to you sending the app for them to open and to do the
Yeah.
exercise all by themselves. That's a level of discipline, I should say, even more than
Yeah, they
motivation.
have their own level. They have their own level of discipline already in place. Yeah.
Yes, and which is a good thing. And don't get me wrong, because the hardest thing is not just motivation comes and goes, but that discipline is what is take you through, as you would know. And
Yes.
if it may have a situation where you might bounce up whereby you might be doing some training someone via physical, and then based on the level of discipline, and the situation may change a little bit, and you realize that, hey, next session, I want to send it up because of X, Y, and Z. You can safely say, based on your evaluation, it may have clients, if they ask for it, you could say yes, because you were interacting with them for about 3 months, 6 months, and they have the
Yeah.
discipline. So when you tick off on the app complete, at least you know for a fact that they're just not ticking the app complete just for you to see and
Tell
feel
people.
that it's complete.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yes, but I think it's a good thing. The app and the virtual and the physical is actually covering all the bases based on people lifestyle in the sense of careers, because sometimes based on the career that you have, it's difficult to for the time that you probably will make yourself
Correct.
available to train for them physically, right? Because if somebody is on working offshore, or somebody working certain hours, it means that they could say, well, send me the app. I have a hour break at a certain point in time, and they
Yep.
could get in their training. That is really a committed and disciplined person to really do that. And I could say for a fact, disciplined people is limited in this world today when coming to health and fitness,
Yeah.
because we have this way of, I will start Monday, I will
Yeah.
start tomorrow. Yeah, we have that. Yeah, and even when you're talking to them about lifestyle changes where food is concerned, they will tell you, "Oh gosh, it really mean I had to give up this Korean. I love this so much. It's hard, and I
Yeah.
know you just get that,
And
right?
the nice thing, I do get that. You're right. But the nice thing about the app too is that like it allows, you see, it gives the client options, right? Because I have clients who move in and out of the app too. I have clients who either sometimes they would train with me in person, sometimes they would train through the app. I have clients who do hybrid, right? Because it also allows me to give people solutions that are budget friendly as well. Because I mean, my most expensive product is me showing up in your house, right? So people
Yes.
who, like, let's say you need 3 sessions a week, but let's say you can't afford to pay me for 12 sessions for the month, right? You could get a cheaper option where I could come to your house once for the week, and then you could do the app twice a week or something like that. So like I work with my clients to help them to be able to afford a service that is, that matches their budget as well. So that is why I also keep the app too, because um, it allows clients to get a hybrid experience that matches the money that they have. And they could still get a solution, even if they can't afford the more expensive options.
Yes.
So
And
it gives me that versatility to offer them that as well.
yes, I've realized that based on listening to you. And that's good, Corinne, because I've never heard that trainers going that distance outside of, all right, well, either we train in the gym or we train in Savannah, or in some cases, some trainer may come home. But I personally, and I know a lot of trainers don't have the option of uh, home visit, uh, the virtual, and especially the option of an app in order to help them to bring down the monthly payment to you if they cannot afford it. I think that by
Yeah,
itself is putting, clients in front of yourself, meaning that because of the love for what you do, as you rightly said, that's you believe that's your calling. And if you strongly believe that is your calling, it means that you would always find a way to work with your clients outside of saying, hey, but you can't afford it. Well, maybe next time, or that is not someone with a calling, in my opinion. If someone will think like that and then say they have a calling, and I understand because I have trained a lot of people in the past for free because they was really passionate about it, and yes, I may have other income, but I love what I do, and I also say that, hey, that's my calling, and I would have elevated it more than just training. Hence the reason why I am doing what I'm doing now, promoting wellness and getting the people in Trinidad and Tobago who support that kind of wellness, not fitness. So like what you do and other people do in this country, you are the persons that I really trying to get at, and the vendors who provide um, healthy option outside of what is selling in the shop or the supermarket, that don't contribute to your well-being, as you and I know.
right.
So I also can talk to the clients and tell them, all right, you know, you could cut down your option outside of flour is X, Y, and Z. Your option outside of the parboiled rice is X, Y, and Z, and have the vendors who provide the meals or the meal prepping to help you reach your health and wellness goal.
Right.
And I do believe, and I know for a fact, I didn't ask you the question yet, I know you contribute to that as well, guiding them in meal prepping and telling them, based on those who have hypertension, how to go about preparing the meal, if not, guide them as well. I'm pretty sure you do that.
Well, I can't. Well, to be quite honest, if I were to be completely honest with you, I don't really mess with clients that have chronic illness. I don't touch their diet at all. I always recommend that they see a dietitian, because I feel like a dietitian is the most qualified person to guide them on that. What I will do though, right, is when it comes to clients that do not have um they haven't been diagnosed with any illness, what I do for them, like if it is they have markers that showing signs of going towards a particular direction, then I would help them course correct their diet so that they don't end up um crossing that line, right? But for people who've already been diagnosed, I leave that to the dietitians, because I network with dietitians. So I would recommend that they go to a dietitian and let the dietitian fix their dietary problems, because I mean, even though I know what goes into making those adjustments, but I prefer to leave that to, to them. I only use dietary intervention with respect to weight. So, like, if somebody wants to lose or gain weight, I would give them the healthiest way to go about doing that. Because I don't believe in fat diets. I don't believe, because people like to do these really disordered types of eating patterns in order to lose weight, especially, right? People want to do crazy stuff, and I mean, people get desperate, and having someone who could tell them, hey, listen, doing this cabbage diet that you want to do is utter madness. Doing stuff like, going on slim fast, and, like, all these dumb crap that people like to do to lose a few pounds. I mean, it's really just about trying to reduce your caloric intake, and trying to within that reduced caloric intake, make sure that you eat as nutritiously as possible, right? So I only jump in when it comes to, I see like there's a borderline, your numbers coming back as though you're going in a particular direction. I'll be like, all right, we need to adjust your diet here, because this is not, if you continue like this, you're going to end up diabetic, or you're going to end up hypertensive, or whatever the case might be. But yeah, I don't really, when people are already sick, I let the dietitians deal with that.
Yes, and
I
I
just deal with the
understand.
exercise side. Yeah.
Yes, I understand, Corinne, and I agree with you. I don't believe in those crash diets. I am totally against crash diet. I believe that you can, you know, cut down your meal size and tweak your diet in the sense of, what you eat, when you eat certain things. And if you have a condition, well, there's certain things based on doctor or nutritionist recommendation that you will need to cut down or cut off. And
Correct.
I do, and I'm glad to hear that you're working with it with dietitian, because a lot of trainers will just go on Google and try something with a client and not really working with a dietitian. And hence the reason why I, even myself, on this podcast and in my magazine and the whole movement, I have a nutritionist, a cultural nutritionist actually, who I recommend clients to, right, to do a consultant or any kind of talks based on lifestyle disease and those kind of things. So um, that is really good. And you see, because of social media, Corinne, and all these things that I see advertising to lose weight quick, you and I know that is just a sales pitch, and it doesn't
Yep.
work like that, right?
Marketing.
It's marketing. So when
Yeah.
coming down to all November, December, and Carnival around the corner, our culture here is to look for the quickest way to lose some pounds in order to fit in a bad suit,
Yeah. Short-term goals. Yeah.
short-term goals. And one of the things that I always say is that when I say train people, I am not treating anybody for carnival, for season. If you wanted to train to get healthy and fit, whether it's a gym or not, I'm your man. But if you're telling me you come in January for March, I will say no. I don't. Find an next trainer.
Yep.
So
Same.
I'm glad.
Same.
Yeah. Yes. I'm glad. I'm glad to know that you stick your boundaries of helping them based on weight loss, based on what they eat, and if they have medical condition, um, recommend them to a dietitian. That's excellent. That's a good way to get them health, get them a holistic approach of what you're trying to achieve. Because in that situation where someone has been diagnosed with a lifestyle disease, and you training them, I think recommending them to a dietitian is will help your job now be a lot easier, because that dietitian will help them, you know, guide them based on the pills that they take, based on
Yep.
whether they're taking insulin, whether they're taking, blood pressure tablets or whatever, together with the
Correct.
exercise. So it's really a whole holistic approach in getting them to either to lower the blood pressure, or where diabetes is concerned. And again, myself and this movement have doctors on board, right? So when people call and they say ask certain things, I am not a medical doctor, but they have
Right.
doctors. I have 3 doctors that who have, the clinics and things like that, private practice, and they have the clinic where I can recommend. I say, right, call these doctors based on what you're telling me. I cannot help you, but there's a nutritionist. Based on what you say, you need a nutritionist or even a doctor, which I have done since I started this movement. Before I even started, recommend or guide them to the direction of a trainer. If they have these lifestyle disease, they definitely need a doctor. If they haven't been diagnosed with anything, and they need a
Correct.
nutritionist to help them, because you don't want to, and it's necessary for someone like you, so you can know how to train someone if they have a condition that lurking there, right?
Yeah.
You must
Because
know.
I mean, I could injure someone if I don't know. And
Yes,
I mean, a lot of trainers operate outside of their scope of practice. I have clear boundaries on what my scope of practice is, right? So so when somebody comes to me, they have to fill out a form, right? And based on the information I have in that form, I will classify that client as low risk, medium risk, high risk, right? High risk clients need to get clearance from a doctor. I'm not going to train that person, right?
yes,
Unless
yes.
they are cleared, unless they're properly cleared, right? So, because I'm not going to suddenly become that person's doctor and be like, oh, well, you could do this. Don't worry about don't worry about all the medications you're on or whatever the case might be. I could just, no, because that's irresponsible, right? That is not, I haven't been trained to diagnose anything. And I haven't been trained to say whether certain types of exercise is going to affect this person negatively or positively or whatever the case might be. So I let the doctors and the dietitians handle those things based on whatever information I collect. Because for me, it's safety first. I want to be able to train my clients safely, right? So once I have a system of classifying them, which I do, then um, I mean, I will train anyone once they've been cleared, right? I like training pregnant women, postnatal. A lot of pregnant women are very afraid of training. Um, I like to show pregnant women that they could easily train safely, right? But again, if a client comes to me and says, well, their doctor said that they have a high risk pregnancy, obviously I'm not going to train that client. You know what I mean? So it's really about operating within your scope of practice and to learn to network where necessary and refer people to others who are within where their situation is within that person's scope of practice rather than mine.
I agree with you 100%, Karine. And it's sad that most a good bit of trainers don't follow that safe and right pattern that you mentioned there. And for some of them, or most of them, is all about the money, and it's not about really getting the client to where they want to reach safely. Okay, and in this
Yeah.
country, you mentioned that you train pregnant women. I have seen it abroad, pregnant women training normal, but I personally haven't seen pregnant women in Trinidad. And I've been in a couple gyms, well, or in Savannah. I might see them doing a walking, but actually training.
I trained until my last trimester. And there was another pregnant woman training with me when I in her last trimester too when I used to go to the gym. All the trainers were
Well,
like, "You're not home yet? Why aren't you? Why are you still here?" But I mean, women could
yeah,
train pretty safely up until their last trimester. Once your doctor allows it, it's fine. But I mean, that is actually something I really want to change, because it does so much for both the woman and the child. So you're
I
right. A
think
lot of women are scared to do it, but I mean, I've trained women postnatal, prenatal, and postnatal. Not very many of them, only about two or three. Um, but yeah, that is something I would really like to popularize. I don't know how I'm going to do that, but um, it's a really good practice for pregnant women to train.
I think,
I think
Karine,
we're still conservative here.
I think, Karine, is that you have to do just exactly what you're doing here now, which is lack of education in Trinidad, whereby you're pregnant and it's like just don't do anything, just go to work, go home, sit down, lie down, rub your belly with coconut oil or with cocoa
Uh,
butter, right?
yeah,
And that's what I've seen in families. That's what I've seen all over. That's what I've seen. That's not what I'm here. That's what I'm seeing. And it's a
yeah,
cultural thing that pass on and
it
it's
is.
wrong. It's
It is.
wrong because you and I know in the bigger countries, women training right up once they have no medical condition, as you
Correct.
mentioned, it's high risk pregnancy. So is
Yeah, I know.
whenever whenever you're training, I think whenever you're training a pregnant person, somebody without any conditions or any high risk situation, I think it's important for you to videotape it and put it up on your social, because in order to things to change, we have to show whereby we making baby steps by someone doing it. So just so you could say you would have trained, and even if I don't know if you have videos where you where you take yourself when you was training, you may or may not have, right? I would have looked at CrossFit Games, I think last year, and saw a woman doing CrossFit finals, pregnant, and her belly was, I mean, I would consider big,
Advanced.
uh,
Yeah,
advanced, and she was
yeah.
allowed. And the CrossFit Games is skipping,
It's
is
intense.
lifting, is very
Yeah,
intense. And she did well. She make it down to the final. Actually, she probably making the first six, and all was well. So I think again, based on lack of education in our country, people like you and me have to educate the wider population on, hey, is not so. So that's how people believe that starving yourself is the only way to lose weight. That's wrong, and you and I
yeah.
know that is not healthy. So what,
Yep.
what I would like, whenever I get a pregnant woman and training them again, reach out to me, and I would like to have an article and picture of showing that woman on one episode, that some issue that I covered out in the magazine.
Yeah. I wish I had kept footage of myself because I definitely, I mean, the funny thing is it really goes to show how we really are uneducated, because in my experience, no, that was a long time ago because my daughter's 18, right? But so I mean it's even gotten more popularized now in the bigger countries, right? Not even back then, but like I remember when I was there, like I mean there were several people who would walk up to me and tell me that I'm doing something wrong. Like I literally had people in the gym coming up to me and telling me, I don't think what you're doing is safe. And I'm like, I know what I'm doing, but thanks. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah, yeah,
um,
yeah.
yeah, I had to kind of like let people know it's okay. I'm fine. My doctor has cleared this, and I know what I'm doing. I am lifting at like half my regular capacity, right? And there are exercises that I know I'm not supposed to be doing, and I'm not doing them. So don't worry about me. I'm good, right?
Yes, yeah,
So I think it's really about a lot of people just don't understand how you can go about doing it. So and that's all, you know.
yes. And it's as you rightly said, and I'm saying, it's lack of education in this
Yeah,
part of the world. And what, as you mentioned, someone came up to you back then, and they came up to you not based on facts. They came up to you based on just seeing a pregnant woman doing what they think is not healthy for them at that point, at that stage in their life, or that point, without any
yeah,
evidence, without any medical backing. It's just based on what it was told back then.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
So again, times has changed so much, and we still operate in a space whereby we are lacking the knowledge to evolve as a people in health and wellness. We still have the misconception that, hey, if a female is a little tone, that she is half man,
Oh
or
my gosh,
she's
yes,
not a
that's so ridiculous.
female. Yes,
Although I
yes,
think
they
that's changing
do.
a little bit now, though. I think people are getting a little bit more accepting that, muscles don't only belong to men. Like
Yes,
women have
yes,
muscles too. Like,
yes,
you
yes,
know,
yeah,
it's,
because
it, I mean, the idea is just so ridiculous. It's so incredibly ridiculous. Like, just because all of a sudden now you can see her muscles, she's a man. Like that's so dumb to me. Like,
I
I don't know.
it's dumb, it's foolish, and I have two friends, and one is in South, and she's a bodybuilder, and to me she looked awesome, and I know there was any podcast I think a couple of weeks ago, and for Carnival gone, somebody used some foolish remark, she looked like a man or whatever the case may be, and I find that was
Right.
so insensitive and illiterate, if I'm being honest. In this
Yeah.
modern time, a woman who take time, it's even harder for a female to look muscular than a man because in their DNA they are more soft. So when you see a woman look in tone and look really nice, it's real work.
Yep.
So
Yep.
and then you in the field, you know what it takes to look tone and the way that you care about yourself and all to maintain that size is discipline.
Yeah, it is. And
It
not
is.
just that, like the whole idea that you could just decide to label somebody as a man, it's just, I mean, that's so misogynistic. Like, I mean, the whole idea is just misogynistic because at the end of the day, you're just basically showing hatred to the female form by saying something like that. And these people just need to stop.
Yes.
Your own judgments of what you deem is a woman should look like, that you are not the standard. And for people to come out here, and I mean, I did a whole series on body image recently, and so I'm even more cognizant of these types of things. And people just need to be quiet about other people's bodies. Like, just be quiet.
And
Seriously, just be quiet.
and Kareem, I agree with you 100%. And it's lack of education, because the thing about it is, most of the people who use those remarks, male or female, right? Most of the time it'll be male. If you look at those persons making those remarks, they need to go to the gym. They need to take a hold of their physical
Yeah,
appearance most of the
yeah,
time. And when somebody cannot or didn't take the time to invest in themselves, and somebody do it and get the results, those
it
people who
shows
didn't make
their
the
weakness.
time, yes,
Yeah,
it shows their
it shows their
weakness.
weakness.
And
Yeah, yeah. They don't
instead
like
of
they don't like being confronted with their weakness.
yes, and you said it correct, Corinne, because in,
Oh.
instead of saying, "Ma'am, I admire how you look.
Mm-hmm.
You inspire me by the way that you look, because I know, even if it's not a fit or a gym person, to look male or female, and especially a female to still look like that is not an easy thing,
Yeah,
right? It's not an easy
yeah.
thing. So
That is hard work and dedication and discipline.
is you're correct. It's hard work, dedication, and discipline, because motivation can carry you there. I could guarantee you that motivation can carry you there. And
Yeah,
when you see a female look like that, and all the women I see look really good into that to that level where they're very toned, and look very good to me, they have a child or two children. And to come back from that to look like that is is super discipline. Is and they still balance being a wife, they still balance a job, they still balance what a female is deemed to do in this world whereby we have people like that talking that nonsense, as you rightfully know, right? They still do
Yeah.
what they have to do. As I said earlier on, everything else that you have to do in life is always there, the job, the relationships, the bills, the ups and downs, that always there. So that is just so you deciding, what, I want to take a hold of my body and my health. That just have to be added to what already is existing. And that's where the discipline is coming. So people
Yeah.
refuse to have that discipline in order to achieve what those women have achieved. They're just ignorant and immature and illiterate. And I'm saying it here because I doesn't like what has been hearing sometimes, not to me, but what has been said out there for women, especially who really take pride in getting their body from point A to point B.
Yeah.
Instead of commend somebody, we have this culture of bringing down people with not knowing the extent of the dedication and the work that they put out to achieve that. And that's self-love there by itself. That's self-love, right?
But
So
I mean,
so
sorry, I don't want to interrupt you.
yeah.
You were gonna say something else?
No, I'm fine. Go ahead.
Yeah, I was gonna say, having said all that though, I also want to point out, like, as a personal trainer too, there's the other side of that coin, which is body shaming people in general. Because there are people who train hard, there are people who eat clean, but they're just never gonna look like that. And I think also there's also a need for us as personal trainers, because I have taken on clients who have had situations with personal trainers who actually body shame them into doing what needs to be done. So there's the other side of that issue now of women who are doing what they're supposed to do, but because they don't look hard bodied, people accuse them of not working out hard enough or not, but I mean, at the end of the day, we also have to accept that there are some people who are not interested in looking like a fitness professional or looking like a competitor. So, and that's perfectly okay. Like, there are some
Yes.
people who have no
Yes.
interest in looking like that, and that's
Yes.
fine.
Yes.
And as
And that,
personal trainers, we shouldn't be trying to force our ideologies on these people, right? So,
yes.
I mean,
Yes.
once their health numbers are looking good, their health markers are looking good, and their weight is under control, sometimes that's all people want, and that's totally fine, right? So there's
Yes.
that as well.
Yes. And yes. And that is true. And what you say is true, Corinne. There are some personal trainers that will be training someone, and because that person may have the genetics, if they choose to go the advanced level, will want to push them to that, even though that person really don't want that look for themselves, and that's
Right.
wrong. And that's
Yep.
wrong, right? And that
100%.
by itself, as you rightfully said, that's a lead on line of body shaming. And everybody body types are different, and that's why it have trainers and it have trainers. And I will always say that, right? If
Yeah.
somebody you're training and they say, I just want to look toned, or I don't want to get toned. I'm just in it for health and wellness, to be healthier and to just look normal, but not into the, because a lot of females told me already, Vic, I training, I don't want to look toned, I don't look no muscle, I just want to train and look
Yeah. They
feminine
just
and
want
just be
wellness.
healthy.
Yeah.
And
They want
that's
wellness.
fine. And that's fine. Okay. But Corinne, every time I hear in podcast with somebody very interesting, I realize that time is just be going.
Yeah. We had,
So
we had 8 o'clock already. Yeah.
you're right.
Yeah.
So before we leave, before I send you off, I wanted to just um, state your handles on the platform so people can know where they can get you.
Well,
And what is your number thing?
I have a digital calling card, right?
Yes.
So if you go to about.me/suspension bell fitness, you will find my digital calling card there. So just to say it again, it's about.me/suspension bell fitness. You'll find my digital calling card there with my phone number and all of my handles, my social media handles on there. And you'll see a little bio and stuff.
Nice. So, Corinne, again, I know we're going to meet sometime soon in some fair or some fitness seminar. I guarantee you, I myself will call you to be part of one of my fair and symposium coming up once at the time to share some of this kind of experience that you have there, because your training method is different to most that I know, and which I like. Don't get me wrong, I love what you offer. I love the way that you offer it in different options. And I can tell based on the conversation that you really love what you do. And yes, I believe it's your calling. And I hope and I pray that you continue to do well. May God bless you and your family and this endeavor. And your business will be super, super big as you continue. And I'm glad that you said yes to be part of this podcast and part of Fortress Fitness Lifestyle Magazine. And people, you will see Corinne in July issue of Fortress Fitness Magazine, where she will be, see her bio, you'll see her there looking all nice and not looking like 40, not looking like 40, the traditional 40. I will say that. So Corinne, I just want to say thanks again. Thanks for coming and making yourself available.
Thank you so much for the opportunity to be here.
All right, have a blessed night, and we will definitely catch up. Yes?
Okay, great. You too.
All right, so good night.
Good night.
Good night.
Special thanks to our partners Virtuscope VA Services and Abini Pro Fitness. And don't forget to get issue 2 of the Fortress Fitness Lifestyle Magazine available now.